Levels of writing ability. Phew, that felt intense to write. Not sure if it felt intense to read. But let's step back for a bit and talk about what you might learn if you do decide to stay on the trade publishing path and write 3 more novels. Some people won't learn anything. They'll just go on blindly making the same mistakes over and over again. To do this right, you need to be reading and learning about the industry while you're writing those new novels. Just writing and not paying attention to other books is not going to help you. If you read enough and pay enough attention to what's selling, you will start to learn something about writing that most new writers don't realize. I know I didn't. Most new writers think that writing is about what happens at the sentence level. Maybe they think it's about what happens at the paragraph level. And that does play into things. Your writing needs to be clear enough that it can convey your story. For example, I read How Proust Can Change Your Life and loved it. Great book. It made me excited to read Proust. And I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, by the way. So I bought his book, too. Couldn't get past page 2. The writing was so dense and convoluted that I just could not get into it at all. And I enjoy reading Tolstoy, so it's not like I'm a lightweight when it comes to reading. Clearly, from How Proust Can Change Your Life, there were great things in his books. But I never found them because I couldn't get past the writing. So the first level of writing that all writers need to master is how to tell the story in their head in a way that others can follow. What order do you put the words in so that it makes sense to your reader? Is it clear who he is referring to in that sentence? Is your reader going to be able to visualize the scene based on your description? Can they feel it? Can they taste it? Did you describe too much so that they put your book down and walked away out of boredom? Are they rolling their eyes at your character's lengthy description of how attractive she is while looking at herself in the mirror? Etc. Most critique groups I've participated in focus on this level of writing. And they pretty much have to because they are geared towards receiving small chunks of writing at a time. But being a good writer is about more than that. The next level of writing ability, in my opinion, is hitting reader expectations for your genre. If I'm reading a fantasy, I want it to be a fantasy. I don't want aliens showing up in chapter 20. A romance reader wants the couple to get together. A mystery reader wants there to be a mystery that is solved by the end of the book. If you aren't meeting reader expectations, it doesn't matter how good your sentences are. Readers won't come back to you. But there are steps beyond that level. I haven't worked out what all of them are yet. I'm still learning. One I like to call emotional resonance. You can write perfect sentences and follow genre conventions to a T. But if you don't connect with the reader on an emotional level, they probably won't be coming back to you. Now, maybe in nonfiction, this isn't as necessary. And maybe in hard science fiction or tough guy urban fantasy, you can get away without the emotional level. But I would say that for most fiction writers, your readers need to be given an emotional experience that fits with what they expect from that type of book. I blogged about this topic recently and mentioned 2 books in that post that failed for me at this level. Both were well written. Both followed fantasy conventions. But I will never read either of those authors again because they disappointed me emotionally. They solved story problems in a way that was distasteful to me. As you write and read and write and read and write and read, you will start to get a feel for this. Ask yourself, why did I like that book? Why didn't I like this other one? Why is this book a hit and that other one not? It is far too common to hear writers say, Dan Brown is a horrible writer. Twilight is awful. And I can't believe anyone would ever read 50 Shades of Grey. Those writers are ones who are still stuck at the beginning. They think it's about writing perfect sentences. It's not. Your sentences only have to be good enough to convey your message. This is why I told the grammar purists to run at the beginning of the book. Because if any are still around, they are screaming right now about how wrong I am. All I have to say to them is, have you really looked at how many rules Stephen King breaks with his writing? I love how fearless he is. He's one of the few authors I know of who puts things in parens in fiction. It is a wonder to behold. And readers love him. They love him because he surprises them. Because he takes everything 5 steps further than most authors would dream of taking things. Read Gerald's Game if you don't believe me. Bad enough to have a woman tied to a bed in a remote cabin with her husband dead on the floor. But where he takes it? Jeez. Think about this as you write and as you read. Think about what's there in the books you like and missing in the ones you don't. Focus on the authors you read and think are okay, but don't buy more of, versus the authors you read and order the entire rest of the series the next day. What is the difference between them? Why choose one over the other? It's not the sentences, or at least not just the sentences. If you want to be really good at this, you need to move past the sentence level. And I don't have all the answers here yet. I'm still working it out myself. I just know it's there. And that the more you read and write and analyze, the more you'll be able to see what your writing needs that it's missing right now.